everybody and welcome to another review. This is a review of a book I literally finished this morning, but I need to talk about it because I loved it so much. And that book is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Sloan. I know this has kind of made the rounds a bit already on Booktube, but look, a bunch of people have been talking about it and I finally couldn't resist it and I bought it. And I'm so glad I did. I loved this book. Fun fact, this cover glows in the dark. Yeah, it does. No, all these yellow books on here, the spine, the back cover, they all glow in the dark. It freaked me out the other night on my bed because I didn't realise it was going to do that. I turned on my lights and I was like, what is that on my nightstand? And I was like, oh, it's my book. So Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore is the story of Clay Jannon, who, because of the recession, has lost his job and takes a new job as the night clerk at a place called Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, run by the ever-enigmatic Mr. Ajax Penumbra. This is not a normal bookstore, which Clay figures out pretty quickly. First of all, he has to detail very exactly in the logbook who comes into the store, what they look like, what they're wearing, I mean down to the detail, and he writes it in these massive logbooks. There's also the fact that, with the exception of like one or two wayward customers who might wander in, most of the people who come in don't actually buy books, they borrow them via this kind of odd club that Mr. Penumbra seems to have, and what they go for are books in what Clay calls the way back section. Or is it the way back section? I can't remember how many ways are in that. But essentially what he has to do is they give him like, it's not even a title or an author, it's like given this weird code and he has to go in there and like scurry up this ladder and he has to grab the book and then give it to them and they trade, and these people are normally like freaking out when they come in to get the books. And you realise there's something big sort of going on, but you're not entirely sure. It's a bit of a mystery. And so really the whole plot of Mr. Penumbra's 24 Bookstore is not only figure out what the mystery is to begin with, but then how to solve it. And I'm really not going to say too much more because it kind of really gives away the plot. This is not a particularly long book, and the plot doesn't even really pick up till close to halfway through, when you first reveal kind of what the mystery is. That's right about halfway through the novel, but you know, it's not slow. It's just sort of like a breath of fresh air. I remember reading this and I was just like, this is just like really fun to read. The book is really about, at the end of the day, a definition of immortality, which you really see in the big digital versus print debate, because you obviously have this little tiny bookstore, and then Clay starts seeing this girl who works at Google. You really see that whole print versus digital questions of immortality that way. And then really it's about friendship, which sort of made me just go, literally, I was making that sound while reading this book, and I was just smiling like an idiot throughout it. And yeah, this book, as I said, it was a breath of fresh air. It made me smile, it made me laugh, and I just loved this book. It's almost like a love letter to those little quaint bookstores that are independent and not a big chain, despite the fact that I work at a big chain. Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore is one of my favourite books I've read in a long time. It's definitely going to be one of my favourites of the year. I mean, we're only in April, and I'm going to tell you, when I do my yearly, like, 2014 wrap-up, this book is going to be in there without question. That's all from me for now, you guys, so until next time, cheers.